What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture. Woohoo!
Ooh.
This week, DJ, we're starting, not starting, but we're continuing our March to Joker, or I guess like Dance to Joker, or whatever. There's a lot of dancing in this movie. With the movie that started it all, kind of, Batman 89, which is could be a lot of fun. DJ, do you want to explain to people where you are, what's going on with you?
Yeah, so my audio might sound a little funky this episode. I'm recording from sunny Anaheim, California. I think I mentioned this on the last pod, but I will be on the field down at D23, not getting into any of the panels because I'm not sleeping overnight. There are people, so I'm recording right now. We're 4:30 Pacific time, Thursday, the 22nd. And the con doesn't start until Friday morning. There are people camped out right now to get into those conventions.
Damn.
Or, like, to get into the panels, which is like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, that's too much, man. I'm, like, good, like, hanging out on the show floor, you know, just checking out some of the booths, you know, maybe getting to some of the lower barrier panels, but my goodness, man, and I know I mentioned this to you before, and you said the Star Wars and Disney fans, man, the stands, they will cape up, and they will wait for nearly 24 hours. Oof.
And if you've got that time and you're down for it, good for you, but I would not be.
You save on a hotel room, right?
That's true.
You save all that money.
And then you probably meet people on the line with similar interests.
Yeah.
It's probably not the worst thing in the world, except for that you don't get a bed. Yeah.
Yeah. If you do it and you love it, that's great. Like, you know, but not for me.
But yeah, so that's why it sounds a little different. Bear with us, but next week it'll be normal and stuff.
It'll be back to normal.
Probably.
Hey, Nando, I got a question. I don't mean to catch you off guard. I'm going to call an audible if it's okay.
Go for it.
So, I forget who on Twitter, but so there was some pretty ginormous movie/comic book news that happened between our recordings. I think maybe one or two people asked us to talk about it on the pod. I don't have a ton to say about it. I got like two things, but I wasn't sure if you wanted to talk about it.
Oh,
since
absolutely.
We have the platform here. Okay, all right.
So
good.
Ezra Miller has confirmed that the Flash movie is still happening, people.
So good.
Via an Instagram post or some bullshit like that. He has said that it is a thing. Just kidding, guys. Obviously, we're talking about Martin Freeman announcing that he will be back for Black Panther 2.
That's so exciting. That's some huge
back,
news.
baby. Whatever his guy's name was, Everett Ross. Finally, we're going to continue his story.
Get to learn more about him.
No, yeah, so the Spider-Man thing. So I guess for people that don't know, I don't think we have all of the details yet. But right now, as of, like you were saying, 3:30 or whatever it is, 4:30 Pacific time, August 22nd, year of our Lord 2019, Sony and Marvel are having a fight over what seems like Kevin Feige's status as a producer and Marvel's cut of the Spider-Man Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man movies. That has resulted in Marvel pulling out of the deal and then no more Sony Marvel crossover movies. It's super unclear exactly what the deal was, who pulled out and why. It might have been because Disney asked for 50% of the box office or gross or whatever, which originally they had 5. Some people are saying 30. Some people are saying it was a stake in all of the Spider-Man movies, so like Venom and Morbius and the ones that aren't connected to the MCU. It could be like some sort of public negotiation kind of thing where one company is trying to gain public support or trick their shareholders or something. I don't know. It's also rumored that the director, John Watts, might not be on for the next one because his contract is up. And then no one's even sure if Tom Holland is going to be back for the next one because he might not be contracted for the next one. Apparently the Sony movie about Uncharted also lost its director today, which Just so happens to star Tom Holland, although that very likely could be a coincidence. Mark Maron said that Marvel movies are made for grown male nerd childs. Don't know if that's relevant in this case, but important. Of
course.
It looks like at this point, if things continue the way they're going, no more Spider-Man in the MCU. He is going to, like Dr. Draco Moore, fall down an elevator shaft in the beginning of Black Widow and never be seen and heard from again. And then maybe, I guess, best case scenario for Sony, Spider-Man is going to be the main character in their cinematic universe. It might be the same Spider-Man. They might just reboot it, but have Tom Holland be this Spider-Man and just, he has never had, any run-ins with Tony Stark or any of this stuff. And he's going to hang out with Venom and Morbius and all the other bullshit movies that they're definitely making. And Silver and Black and Kraven and all kinds of stuff. That's kind of most of I got. Oh, and Twitter is terrible now. That's all I got, though. That's the long and short of it.
I don't know if you know, Nando, but Twitter's been bad since its inception in 2009 or whatever. It's been bad the whole time.
That is very true.
As it turns out. We just didn't know, but it was bad the whole time.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man Twitter has always been a tricky thing. And it's obviously, this is like peak Spider-Man Twitter. So, sorry, I'm just positioning my mic. So nobody knows who to blame. Nobody knows how to feel about it. I mean, people that don't support Disney being a big company in general seem to be on not side Disney. People that like the MCU seem to be on, Team Disney. People that hate the MCU are on Team Sony. Yeah, that's more or less it. Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner came to Tom Holland's defense today for some reason, or maybe yesterday. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this, DJ?
So like I said, I don't have a ton. I have more questions than anything. So I know you said it at the up, but this isn't all 100% confirmed, right?
No, yeah. It's totally unconfirmed.
Tomorrow. It's just kidding.
Yeah, it could go any way, and also it'll probably... I have a feeling we'll hear plenty more from this. Yeah.
So my thing is that I think this is... So I don't like the whole Team Sony or Team Disney. It's not like Sony is this mom and pop store that has Spider-Man. It's we got to keep the integrity. It's no, they're also a giant company. They're not as giant as Disney, but they're also bad and stupid. They have an entire video game empire that they're resting on. I do think that this is probably a bad move for Sony in general. I don't see this hurting Disney. It sucks, and it sucks for the fans, and I think in general the it's been a positive experience with Spider-Man. Especially in the last movie, it's we got J. Jonah Jameson back. That's cool, doing his little InfoWars thing. And, everyone knows that Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Where's that going to go? And it's fuck you guys. Just whatever. It's just companies being stupid, right? It's just for...
I guess. How are they going to make... I get maybe being oh, well, we're not going to talk about Tony Stark anymore because Tony Stark is dead in this universe. So, maybe if we just don't bring him up, it won't be a big deal. But how are they going to make Spider-Man movies in the future without mentioning Box of Scraps guy from Iron Man 1? They don't have the license to him. And he is clearly assembling the Sinister Six in the form of USB flash drives from when they died in the last movie that they were in. I think the whole corporations are dumb and I don't like them, but they make all the movies. So what are you going to do? I feel from Sony's perspective, going from 5% to 50% kind of seems unreasonable, except if you, I don't know what number I would say is fair. But I would say Kevin Feige asking for more money is completely warranted. He is the most successful producer in the history of Hollywood, right? Probably hits and misses and amount of money made. Not necessarily he has made the best movies, but just in terms of if you're going to say, is X person worth their money? He's got to be up there, if not the highest, the most valuable one that's currently alive. And
yeah, for sure.
Spider-Man and Sony are just coming off of a year that should prove to Spider-Man or to Sony that they need Marvel, because they made 2 Spider-Man movies in the last in the last 12 months. One is Spider-Man Far From Home, a pretty good movie. It's got good parts, it's got bad parts. It's it's funny. There's parts of it where it feels like, oh yeah, this is just kind of another Marvel movie, whatever. And then it made Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and that's like one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made, debatably one of the best like comic book movies ever made, won an Oscar, and yet Into the Spider-Verse is the lowest grossing historical like Spider-Man movie, and this new one, the Marvel adjacent one, is the highest grossing one. So, like, I think Kevin Feige can make a pretty clear case, like, listen, it doesn't matter how good these movies are on their own. You need us, and we are providing, like, value to you. And it's also, like, we've talked about this on the show before, and we talked about Amazing Spider-Man 2, but Kevin Feige, his, like, not even according to legend, because I'm pretty sure you can just, like, read them on a paper, gave notes on the script for Amazing Spider-Man 2 that were all dead on and would have, like, saved that movie. So, like, I get people thinking, well, I mean, Sony knows how to do this, and, like, they know what they're doing now, but they've just made one good one on their own, and, like, they have this guy in Kevin Feige who clearly knows what he's doing, and when left to their own devices, Sony has made some really not good movies with Spider-Man in them. So, I just don't see the value in this, like, Sony Spider-Man cinematic universe as, like, it's okay, we'll just fold him into the Venomverse with this, like, so bad it's good movie that, like, I think the executives, like, pretend it's a good movie. And they're like, everybody loves Venom, but none of us really love it. We all just think it's weird. And we're, like, willing to give it money. And maybe other countries love it. I don't know how that works. But, well,
or they're huge fans of Tom Hardy, right? That's part of the equation, too.
Right. And,
it's like, you put someone in there we love. Hooray.
And biting lobsters, eating lobsters raw.
Yeah, he's so fun.
It's like, So I think, on one hand, yeah, corporation's bad. But I've kind of gotten over that. Oh, and also the other one, I don't think I said this already, but this is, like, my big thought, is, like, there's people saying, like, well, yeah, I mean, Disney shouldn't get all the money and they shouldn't own anything. I agree. But we as, like, consumers should, I think, see this as the ultimate failure. Because this Sony-Disney deal was the best case scenario for this, like, this guy owns this thing and this guy owns this thing, but this guy's going to buy this company and he's not going to buy the thing back. They can both have it and they can both make movies and, like, work together. Because that's what, like, people want, and that's what Disney wants. And I think if the companies are willing to play ball and be friendly and come up with something, like, fair and reasonable, that's the best case scenario. So having a world where it's like, no, they're going to fight and eventually one will buy the other. Well, not like one will buy the other. Disney will buy Sony. But also, like, yeah, Sony makes some good movies, but Sony's also made some real, like, stinkers.
Yeah, we've done this on the pod. I think we've gone through, like, all the Sony movies.
Ghostbusters,
like,
Emoji Movie, Pixels. Like, so I understand people really liking the Raimi movies and really liking Into the Spider-Verse. But if you take Into the Spider-Verse out of the equation, you have two movies that came out 15 years ago, made very, very like, seemingly with the creative vision of one guy, like Sam Raimi, who knows what he's doing. And like, you have those, and then you just have, like, a bunch of somewhere between meh and, like, bad movies that reek of studio intervention and, like, just, like, focus grouping, and it's so, I don't know, it just seems like such a mess. And it's a bummer, because, like, this is, it was a pretty good place for, like, the Marvel stuff to be in. I don't know, it's weird. It's good, though, that, like, this is the only version of that can possibly happen, besides maybe Universal and Hulk. But, like, you know, we don't have to deal with now Fox pulling all its guys, because it doesn't have them anymore. So it's kind of a one-off thing. I feel bad for, like, Tom Holland, I guess, but also, like, he's a millionaire and he's 20, so he'll be fine. Sure, he'll live.
This isn't like a Jeremy Lin situation where he feels his life is over.
Right. He can do a backflip.
That reference, it's fine.
He's a good person. He's going to be okay.
I get the whole... So I agree with pretty much everything you said. And I get the corporations are bad thing. But fuck, man, like, we have to live in this world where I think we just have to come to terms with it's not going to go back, right? You're not going to have... It's like, oh, all of these little companies make the films, and we get all these, like, neat, cute films. Like, everything's owned by something, you know, unless we have this, like, incredible legislation where the government, like, regulates the movie industry, where it's like, oh, Disney can only own so many of these properties. It's like, and I feel like Endgame was fucking amazing. And, you know, part of that we have to get from, look, you just have to have kind of one guy owning all these things, and, look, if you want it that way, then so be it. You know, right. I get it, but also, you know, if you want the good stuff, you kind of have to deal with the fact that, yeah, Disney owns you. Everyone's going to own Disney Plus, and it's going to have all the content. It's going to win the content wars, and then, you know, that's going to be it. And, all right, they win. They win because they found all the things that everyone liked, and then they pumped a ton of money into it and made a shit ton of content out of it. They won. That's how you win in a capitalist market. Congratulations, Disney. You won.
And to also, like, so just talking about Marvel, and I mean, because Disney also, you know, they like remake all their animated movies, and they do all the Pixar and Star Wars and stuff. But just like Marvel, if you're thinking like, oh, well, Fox, like Disney acquiring Fox is bad as from a monopoly standpoint, and like they, you know, people that get mad about that. On one hand, I agree. Like we're saying, monopoly is not great. On the other hand, like, they didn't have to. Fox didn't have to be in a situation where they had to sell their, like, film studio. They didn't have to lose $130 million on Dark Phoenix. Like, it's not. It's bad when you see all this happening and you're like, man, I wish there's more competition in the market. But it wasn't going to be from them. Like, a lot of these movies they're making aren't good anyway. So, it's hard for me to, like, defend a company like that makes X-Men Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, and it's like, well, they should be able to make their own movies. Like, well, I guess, but they should make good ones. Like, it's so hard to fight against Disney, like you were saying with Endgame, because it's like, well, most of their movies are good or really good, and you know, like, if I understand, like, from the perspective of these movies that are you know, like, if they did cancel that movie where Taika Waititi plays Hitler, which they haven't, like, said they were going to do. There's just one executive that was like, I don't know about this movie. But, like, if they started canceling all those projects, I'd be like, yeah, it's probably not a great idea. But, like, it's, yeah, they're not buying, at least so far, it doesn't seem like in the immediate future, they're going to just buy every company because they can. Like, a company that's making money and being successful hopefully won't have to sell their company to Disney. We haven't seen a company do this out of not desperation.
Yeah, like, plus, it's going to be Skynet anyway. So we already know how this story goes down.
Plus, like,
spoiler alert.
Like, the world is on fire, so who cares? Like, it's I don't know, it's tough. And yeah, I mean, and there might be not like backlash, but like, if Disney does homogenize everything, I can see like a little kind of cosmic balancing of the scales where it's like, well, I mean, yeah, but all these movies are bad, so we're not going to see them. Like,
yeah.
If instead of Lion King and Aladdin, they made Dumbo and then two other Dumbo equivalents and like lost a bunch of money, they would have to rethink their strategy. But they made two movies that are not like great, but they're like fine. And then they made $1 bazillion. But like, eventually they're going to have to bump up against some wall. And, you know, that'll happen. Maybe people will get sick of the Marvel movies. I think there's a very good chance people are going to get sick of Star Wars in the near future. I think having Benioff and Weiss making a trilogy of like $100 million Star Wars movies might not be a great, you know, like 10-year plan. So that, you know, it's not like it feels like right now Disney is making all the money. And you know what? I was talking with someone about this yesterday. And eventually we'll talk about Batman. I was talking with someone about this yesterday. Like, it really seems like Disney owns the whole world this year. But I really think next year is going to be different. Because this year we have, like, the sequel to Toy Story, the greatest Pixar, like, animated movie of all time, the remake of Lion King, the greatest animated movie of all time, the finale of Avengers, you got the finale of a Star Wars trilogy, you got the sequel to Frozen. Like, next year is not gonna be like this. There will be space for, like, a Fast and Furious movie and a Wonder Woman and whatever to be the highest grossing movie of that year. So yeah, Disney's going to make a lot of money, but I do think this year, 2019 specifically, is kind of an anomaly. Like if people think that Eternals and Black Widow will both be the top 1 and 2 highest grossing movies of next year, it's probably not the case. I don't know what it will be, but like if you look at 2020 movies, I'm sure there's some pretty serious Disney contenders, but like, yeah, it's like, you know, Fast and Furious, a James Bond movie, Birds of Prey, Ghostbusters, like there's a lot of other stuff in there. And I don't think that like, oh my God, if you look at a list of it, New Mutants is still on that list. Get rid of New Mutants. It's not on that list anymore, guys. It's gone. And get rid of it. But yeah, so like, I think I'm in a very wait and see mode on this, especially with Spider-Man 2, because like I said, it could all be negotiating in public to get Sony less or more money or whatever. But yeah, I feel like 2020 is going to be different. Yeah.
There is also a part of this too that like they're movies, right?
Right.
It's not like Disney's in the pharmaceutical game. Like not to be all like, oh, like it's small potatoes, but kinda. So,
no, for sure. Yeah. I completely, like, as far as monopolies go, this is definitely the lowest priority.
If you're into, like, sports, there's, like, 4 guys who own all of sports. And I'm barely exaggerating.
Yeah.
It's like, sports is owned by, like, 0.05% of people. Like, it's you know, not to say, like, oh, well, you know, it's bad all around. It's like, yeah, maybe, but, all right, man, you could just, like, stop going to the movies then. Or, you know, stop seeing those movies.
Or...
You know,
buy comic books or play video games. Like,
books.
If you want your Spider-Man, there's so many places to get Spider-Man. It's not like they bought Moon Knight and said, no one will ever see Moon Knight again. We're not making another Moon Knight comic book, and then he's dead pretty much. It's Spider-Man. There's Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and a basic Spider-Man and a Venom, like, event book that Spider-Man is in and a Spider-Man life story where it's like, Spider-Man Through the Ages. There's so much Spider-Man just in comic books. They just finished like the best Spider-Man video game. It's maybe one of the best video games from last year. I'm sure there's some average Spider-Man cartoon right now, but there'll definitely be more. Like, go find more Spider-Man.
He's out there.
And yeah, I mean, if you want to like, yeah, and I like just thinking about that now, monopolies and like defending Disney, like it's not great that they have monopoly, but like New Mutants, Fox sunk so much money into a movie we will never see. And and not just like never see because it's like, oh man, it needed reshoots. Never see because like they made it and they could not figure out what to do with it. Like, so like, yeah, those guys, it's like Uber and taxis. I don't want Uber to push all the taxis out of business because then it'll only be one company. But, like, you can't blame them because taxis aren't that great. Like, it's, you know, it sucks.
Here's what it comes down to. This is the last thing I have to say about this. Endgame made me fucking cry. And I'm about to go to Disneyland on Monday where I'm going to get to try Blue Milk. And that's going to make me cry too. So, yeah, fucking at me. They own everything and it sucks, but they make me cry tears of joy by letting me, like, live my childhood dreams. So, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like, I do think there are diminishing returns, not just 2019, but, like, people our age being consumers in 2019. Where,
that's
like,
a great point.
In 5 years, this all may be very different, where, like, rebooting Minions is going to be what makes you $1 million instead of this. And
yeah, like, exactly. We're going to be like, what the fuck?
Like,
that's a great point.
We'll see what happens. I think Mulan is going to be an interesting test case next year.
Yeah.
And apparently she's got her own bag of troubles with China and whatever. But like, if this movie fails because it's like, well, yeah, it's not one of the 3 greatest animated movies of all time being made in live action. It's an average one that people like, but like, you know, Disney can't print money by doing this forever. And, if that fails and then there's no Star Wars thing that year, like, I think we'll be fine. And like, so last thing, Disney bought Marvel in 2000
I
and
think?
No, it was after. Because it was after Iron Man. It was probably in 2009.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. Like that's when they bought like Marvel and Marvel Studios and all that. So like, as I believe somewhere between Marvel or Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2, people think Marvel changed the story or Disney changed the story, took away the alcoholism. I think it's like one of those like, rumors, but, Disney bought Marvel Studios, right? And then like, it's not like Disney bought a money printing machine. Disney bought a part of a money printing machine and then built the money printing machine, right? Like there was no indication that like the Iron Man was a pretty big success, but there was no indication that like 50 or 10 years in the future, a movie mainly built around Iron Man would be the highest grossing movie in history. Like that, they did some stuff. They didn't just acquire stuff. And like Avatar, I'm really interested to see how that goes. But like, they bought the X-Men. It's not like they bought this super productive mega franchise that everyone loves. They're going to have to build that from the ground up too. And same with Fantastic Four. So like, yeah, it's not, they're doing something right. And I have a hard time, I just have a hard time being like, oh no, these guys that keep making good movies and like, just did that with this franchise that they couldn't, like, that no one would buy. No one could care less about Iron Man and Captain America, and they turn them into the biggest things on the planet. Like, I don't know. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's tough. Spider-Man's so iconic too. I think I don't know if this is still true, but like the number one Halloween costume for a billion years for boys under the age of 10 is Spider-Man.
Yep.
Because he's so cool.
And now it's Jack Fortnite, the main character from Fortnite, I assume.
Yeah, it's probably right.
He's like a guy, and he's got fluorescent clothes, and he's
got a pickaxe.
That's right,
goggles.
He's got a pickaxe. No, DJ, you're thinking of Minecraft. Just kidding. What is it with kids and pickaxes these days?
Yeah, right?
If you had told me 10 years ago the future of video games is pickaxes, I would have smacked you across the face.
You'd be right to do it, my goodness.
But it is. That's what the kids love. And apparently Minecraft is back somehow. I don't know how this works.
I didn't get the memo.
It's back. It's super
Holy
big.
Shit. Good talk.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great talk. And I remember everything it was. It was great. We talked about Marvel. We talked about Sony. Mostly also shit on the Fox X-Men movies.
Yeah. New Mutants.
Oh, man.
It's a movie that's definitely coming out.
I really, really, really want to see it. Like, I want to see it so badly, and we never will. There's no way. But because it would just tarnish the brand for no reason and make no money. And there's so many incentives already to buy Hulu that I don't even think that would be a good one.
Yeah. I very secretly want there to be, so at D23 there's like all the panels, and one of them is, an early screening of like the new High School Musical, whatever, that they're putting on Disney Plus. I want it to secretly be like a New Mutants thing.
Oh my
god!
God!
Maybe there's like coded language in there, and they just or they just like punk everyone. Like, you're all seeing new music, High School Musical. No, New Mutants.
Yeah.
Didn't you see every third letter spelt out New Mutants?
That would be. I mean, there's so much stuff like that you could just like, because I would love it if there were rules like that they bought it and it was like, well, you have to show it to at least 2,000 people. So they would like had like a fake press conference or like, fake conference for like some fantastic new video game or whatever. And then they would get everybody in the room and like, all right, so real quick, we're going to watch 2 hours of New Mutants. The plot doesn't make any sense because most of the scenes are missing, but just go with it because we have to. And then you all get a free hat or whatever. And then, yeah.
You get a free day of Disney Plus. Everyone's like, oh, what free day?
Oh, my God. I'm going to watch The Mandalorian 100 times. I am excited for The Mandalorian, though.
Yeah.
You should cosplay as that big old robot made of, like, tubes. IG-88.
Oh, yeah. I want to do, like, a Spider-Man cosplay, though. I want to get, like, a homeless Spider-Man, like, just kind of wander around D23.
Yeah. I think we've thought about it. for like dressing up for Comic-Con, some sort of Kevin Feige. And this was before even this Spider-Man stuff. I was just like, I could probably make a Kevin Feige costume work. But now I don't know if I would want to carry the severed head of Spider-Man or, I don't know, like be looking for Spider. I don't know. Or I don't know if in a month and a half, this will all be the oldest of old news, you know? Like,
yeah, everyone's like, what? No one cares anyway.
You could just like dress up as like a Spider-Man. You dress up as like a guy with a Spider-Man t-shirt on and just like have like your hair be a big mess. And then you'd have like a knife and then like something else that would make you look insane. You would just be like Spider-Man Twitter. And then you would be the greatest villain in the Spider-Man universe.
Oh, yes. They got to make a whole comic series on Spider-Man Twitter.
It would be great. It's so bizarre. Do you know who? Do you have any idea who someone named Jeremy Conrad is? I believe that's his name.
No.
He's some sort of like MCU insider, and I don't know who he is. I followed him for a while, just because he would be like you would have him. And I could be way off on the name, but I'm editing this one, so I will take it out. Oh no, yeah, I was right. And this guy's like he'll like put out leaks like this guy is joining this movie, and I would always be like, okay. And then I kind of started paying attention to him, and he's just like so weird, and he's really kind of losing it about this thing, and he's probably the best part of like the adult Spider-Man Twitter, like this is annoying thing. Anyway, it's great. Spider-Man. I'm just so tired of you know what though? I like Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man is cool. And I hope they make a good Spider-Man movie. But also, like, I saw Spider-Man in, like, 8 movies this year. So I could also just, like, not see a Spider-Man movie for a little while.
Spider-Man hiatus, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
I want Morbius. That's what I want. As long as Marvel doesn't ruin my Jared Leto Morbius movie, I'll be okay. And we've seen they filmed it. So unless it takes a New Mutant-style turn, we will definitely see this movie. About Michael Morbius. Everyone's favorite guy.
That's what the kids want.
Someone was definitely...
Jared Leto, their favorite.
I know, like, hey, let's dress up Jared Leto in a weird Hot Topic outfit and put white, like, stuff on his face and have him make weird sounds, because that's never failed before. That's definitely a path to success. Yeah, I don't know. It might be great. Who knows? I mean, listen, we have no reason to believe it will be great. It'll probably be just like Venom. But, who knows? Also, so, like, yeah, it's going to be great.
It's the best movie in China that year.
Definitely. Yeah, and then he'll team up with Venom and join the Fast and Furious gang and whatever.
Oh, God. Make that team up happen.
But speaking of team-ups, at some point in this movie, Batman teams up with an annoying reporter. Yeah. This movie, so we're talking about Batman 89. This is the path to the Joker, speaking of Jared Leto. We're doing...
I thought that's how we're going to get there, but yeah.
I don't know what. Yeah, listen. This movie it's the Joker. So much of my brain has kind of forgotten that Jared Leto is the Joker that even in a minute of talking about him and then having to come up with the segue, my brain erased the fact that Jared Leto was the Joker just to kind of, keep my sanity. But this movie is Batman 1989. It's just called Batman, but we can't call it Batman.
Yep. There's too many movies that are just Batman. But
yeah, and the next one is The Batman. Also, there was a cartoon called The Batman. We had to call the cartoon that came out around the same time as this movie Batman, the Animated Series. Like, thank God for Christopher Nolan not just calling them all Batman.
Yeah, oh man, that would have been a nightmare.
He did a good thing. Besides just making good movies, but he also named them in a way that was clever. But yeah, so we're looking at Batman 89, directed by Tim Burton. It was probably the first major superhero movie besides the Superman ones. That also wasn't like the one we talked about last week that was a big silly joke. It was written by someone named Sam Hamm. That's adorable. And
I wasn't sure if that was a joke. But
nope,
wow.
It was not. And someone named Warren Scarron. Sam Hamm also wrote Batman Returns, something called Mantis, a show called Mantis, the movie Monkey Bone. So yeah, listen, good for him. It stars Michael Keaton as Batman, Jack Nicholson as Joker, Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale, Robert Wool as Alexander Knox, and Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent. Oh, and Michael Goog as Alfred. DJ, what'd you think of this movie?
When I started watching this movie, so I realized very early on that I had never watched this movie fully through. I'd only I'd only seen like bits and pieces of it in different order, and I assumed I saw the whole movie full through, a lot like with Forrest Gump. You know, when you're like, oh yeah, I've totally watched Forrest Gump, you know, front to back. It's like, nah, you just watched a lot of it on TV a bunch.
Yeah.
And you piece the movie together in your head. That's what I did with this movie.
I see that.
So just because I feel like it was on TV a lot in the 90s and stuff like that. And I thought I was overexposed. But yeah, I'm like, oh, I don't remember this. But I like this movie overall. I think that it's such a Tim Burton movie. Like, everyone is wearing the biggest suit that's ever been made. And I'm like, oh, this is like, is this Public Enemies or is this Batman? Ha 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 ha. The music is very Danny Elfman. I actually really like Jack Nicholson. It's probably my favorite part of the movie. I don't know if this is a controversial take, but I don't love Michael Keaton as Batman or Bruce Wayne. I think the Joker does a lot of the heavy lifting. This Batman does not care about murder, so I guess that's the inspiration that Ben Affleck called on. You know, everyone's like, Batman doesn't murder. Watch this movie. Batman's super okay with murder.
Oh, yeah.
He's just ready to murder the Joker straight up. So this has been in DC's wheelhouse for a long time. I don't want to hear none of this Batman doesn't murder nonsense. But overall, I thought it was good. It's way too long. Like the one we talked about last week, the movie's just way too fucking long. And it's not the length, it's just like the lack of shit that happens in the movie given the length. Like, we just spend way too much time with Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne being like, Vicky Vale, I have to tell you something. I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes doing the one thing I really shouldn't do and explain to you that I'm Batman. There's like 5 scenes like that. They're very frustrating. I had no investment in Batman or Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale's relationship at all. I care about Jack Nicholson much more. Also, this movie has the funniest Gotham like police force people. Like the mayor's like, I gotta have my damn bicentennial celebration, and you got Harvey Dent, Billy D. Williams being like, I promise, Mr. Mayor, we'll make it happen. The Joker something this, Joker something that. We're all wearing the biggest suits that have ever been created. Like we're about to go to some like big Southern Baptist church or something like that. Yeah, it's a good watch. It's okay. I'm not super high on this movie. I liked it as much as the Batman 66 version, but for like different reasons. Yeah, it's fine. It feels more like a Batman movie, not like last week where it's like, is this a movie about Batman or just some guy, rich guy who has gadgets? Like, this felt like a Batman movie, even if the Bruce Wayne isn't like a Christian Bale, fancy cool guy millionaire, or even like Ben Affleck, I'm gonna run around the world and hunt for superheroes. This was supposed to be like, I don't know, eccentric billionaire who like hides a lot. I just couldn't get a read on what kind of Bruce Wayne Michael Keaton was supposed to be. End of rant.
That's a good question, because I think I don't even know what kind of guy Michael Keaton is. Like, when you call casting, what do you have to describe to get Michael Keaton? You know?
He had a very 80s look, especially with the hair. I didn't know that's what Michael Keaton's hair fucking looked like. I totally forgot, because there's the Batman Michael Keaton, but I think, us watching media in the, mid to late 2010s, we've come to love this new Michael Keaton, our Birdman, our insert name of web-slinging superhero Homecoming
That's
Michael
right.
Keaton.
The founder. Founder Dumbo Keaton. Guy, Mr. Fake Disney.
This is our new Michael Keaton, so I don't know this old Michael Keaton. I can't... He looks like he belongs on Full House. That's like what he looks like in this movie. He's got like interesting face, the little glasses, especially the hair. He's almost got like a mullet going on. Not quite.
See, it is weird. Michael Keaton's like career leading up to this was like stand-up comedian Mr. Mom, Batman. So like,
right.
The fact that it doesn't necessarily fit in as Bruce Wayne makes sense, but also it's like, I don't know what they expected from him. Like, because he's just, I would say the main thing he brings to the role is crazy. He's crazy. And
he is crazy.
Not in like he has X mental, condition crazy. Just in terms of, like, he's a character in a movie who's crazy. And, like, it's fine because it's kind of fun to watch. But, it's like an interpretation of Batman. It's weird because I don't know what exactly they were going for. I liked him in this.
Yeah?
Enough. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I think out of the three, so they got him, Val Kilmer, and George Clooney. I think looking back, Val Kilmer's probably my favorite Batman, and George Clooney's probably my favorite Bruce Wayne. But I do but I feel like Michael Keaton has the most, like, general screen presence of all three, where it's like one of them's just on screen. It's like he's probably doing something interesting, because Val Kilmer's just kind of weird. But I do like him. And George Clooney's not a particularly good Batman. He's just kind of there. So I do think he's got a lot of intangibles. The hair is tough. The hair is really tough.
It's really tough.
Yeah. It's a weird, I've never associated that hair with Batman. I can't think of a time when he's been drawn like that. I don't know why they didn't get him to straighten it. Like, or something, put on a wig. I don't wear wigs these days. Maybe that wasn't a thing then, but, like, yeah, his hair was strange.
Watching this movie, it feels like that, because I had to take in the context, like, there hasn't been a superhero movie, like you said, in some time, so it really felt like they were trying to, not overly explain, but, the idea of a superhero, it's crazy, this is what it would be like, but because there's not a lot of fight scenes. It's just a lot of Batman with his gadgets. He throws down a smoke bomb and it's hilarious. It's like he throws it down and then cut away and then just smoke just starts rising where he is. It's like, this movie's so quaint. But I thought the movie put, like, way more effort into explaining, like, this is what the Joker is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And as a big fan of the character, don't give the Joker a backstory. It's not a good thing.
Yeah. Also, don't have the Joker put on, like, makeup to look like a regular person. It's the most jarring thing.
It's quite strange. I liked Jack Nicholson enough in this. I think as the Joker, he's out of all of the Jokers, even when you could put Leto in there, he's the one that feels the most like the actor playing him and least like the Joker, where it's like, this is mostly Jack Nicholson dancing around and being also just crazy. Like, he likes art and he likes to paint and he, cuts people's faces out of magazines and whatever. And every so often he laughs and he dresses like the Joker. So he is the Joker. I do think this movie gives him a lot of fun opportunities to do, like, weird stuff. Like, there's that bit where Joker starts poisoning everyone with hair products, and he has a little commercial. I think that's a lot of fun. Yeah, and that feels a lot like the Hamill Joker from the cartoons, which is, like, probably my favorite Joker. We'll see if it is or not, but I'm pretty sure it will end up being. So there's stuff like that that's really good. There's just a lot of other stuff where he's, like, kind of just a gangster who also has this weird smile. Also, like, the Joker, he's the Joker already. Before the accident, he already has playing cards. He's already bad. He's already ambitious in the mob. Like, so I have a hard time, like, being like I don't know. Everything before he turns into the Joker is unnecessary, and obviously having killed Bruce Wayne's parents is absurd.
It's the craziest thing.
It's so crazy, and I had so much of a hard time as a child, and even, like, until kind of recently, probably going like, wait a second, is that guy supposed to be Jack Nicholson? Does he just kind of look like Jack Nicholson? Like, because they don't de-age him because it's 1989. They get another actor who kind of looks like Jack Nicholson, but also I'm like, it's not him though. And
yeah.
And that's, like, pretty much completely unprecedented in Batman lore, the idea that Batman's parents were killed by the Joker. Because I always assumed that Batman and Joker are supposed to be relatively the same age. Like, they're maybe the Joker's a little older than Batman, but not that much older. And then
yeah, for sure,
the idea that like Batman is a product of just general crime as opposed to like super evil genius mobsters, not evil genius, but like this organized crime. I think it's less interesting if it's like a killer who's a guy who's a killer versus, in the same way like Spider-Man shouldn't have parents that are special. The situation that causes Batman's family's death should be as random as possible. And this was not that. What'd you think of his like face?
So like, I actually thought it was pretty solid in the white makeup. Like, I didn't mind the perma smile. Like, however they did that, the makeup or the prosthetic. It's so jarring without the white makeup. And I know that, like the flesh color is supposed to be makeup and the white is the skin, whatever. But, like, it was so weird because there's parts where it's like, oh, it's just Jack Nicholson with a giant smile on, and there's no Joker there. But, like, when he's in, like, the purple suit and the white makeup and the smiling, like, and the green hair, like, Jack Nicholson kind of goes away, and it's, oh, that's the Joker. I think for, maybe outside of some of the quote-unquote Jack Nicholson-isms, like the specific laugh that is like,
yeah.
Although he doesn't do that a ton, but just like his cadence comes up a lot. But when he has like the Joker laugh, like really good. Like I'm like, oh, that's a solid Joker. It's not some kind of, especially because he's the main antagonist for this movie. And it's like, oh, he's a good foil for Batman. That's a good Joker, not like fucking Jared Leto. So,
yeah,
I thought it was good.
Stick to Morbius, Jared Leto. Stay away from the Joker. I mean, like, I did think he was good. I think there's some things about this Joker. This Joker really leans into art. His whole thing with like going to museums and having painters, like, I don't care for that. I think it's like a little, not like an overused trope, but I just find it kind of uninteresting. The stuff where he's very, like performative and like putting on like a costume to do his little speech, and how he has this whole troupe of mimes, like that stuff is fun. And I'll never tire of that. In a Batman movie where it fits, like you can't push that into the Dark Knight and get away with it. But like here it's fun because you have an opportunity to have one of his goons just like have a boombox and whatever, like, and he's boombox goon. I also don't mind like his plan and what he's up to with like the makeup and stuff. I think that's like a pretty good Joker plan that isn't just this like, not like generic, but like when you get to Heath Ledger, it's very like high-minded and philosophical and proving that the soul of Gotham, blah, blah, blah. I like the idea that it's just like, yeah, he wants to make people ugly and show them stuff about their appearance, and he's going to poison all the makeup. And that part was fun. Okay, so who else is in this? Okay, what do you think of Kim Basinger, an actress who I only know from this, but I'm sure she's from other stuff, as Vicky Vale, intrepid reporter or photographer or whatever?
I don't know if the question is how do I feel about Kim Basinger. I mean, I'm like, she was fine, but fuck, man, I did not care for Vicky Vale at all in this movie. I thought she didn't really provide anything because her whole thing seems to be like finding out who the Batman is, but there's no challenge. Bruce Wayne just straight up tells her, and her whole thing is to be there. So it's weird, right? Because in the previous Batman movie, like Bruce Wayne really wants to have sex with Catwoman, Kitka, whatever, and he's like going crazy. In this one, like, Batman's not going crazy, but he's like torn. He's like, oh, I'm in love with this woman, but I'm Batman. What do I do? Like, he has the whole Christian Bale, like, Batman Begins into Dark Knight arc, but like within a matter of minutes. And it's like, what are you doing? This doesn't seem right at all.
Yeah, and it feels very Batman Forever. How much of Batman Forever do you remember?
Very little. Very, very little. And it's a shame we won't go over it for this.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the one that I know the best because I watched it a billion times as a child because I was a huge Jim Carrey fan. That movie is similar enough where criminal psychologist named Chase Meridian, played by Nicole Kidman, pulls up and she's like, I'm interested in I want to figure out what the deal is with this Batman dude. she spends a lot of time trying to figure out his identity. Also falls in love with Bruce Wayne. She's doing the whole, like, I'm in love with Bruce Wayne, I'm in love with Batman. But I think why I like it more with her and less with Vicky Vale is, as like a foil for Batman, and she's just so, like, aggressive in a way that makes me feel like she can, and, like, that's why I don't mind Val Kilmer as Batman. They like balance each other out well, while the Vicky Vale Bruce Wayne energy is not, it just doesn't feel as, like, I don't know, passionate as I expect for a Batman.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, there's times when he, like, yells and, like, you know, gets excitable and whatever.
Yeah.
But just a moment where, like, I don't know, where it feels like a big deal for Batman to be like, oh man, should I tell her my identity or shouldn't I? I'm like, I don't know, man. With Vicky Vale, yeah, tell her whatever. She seems nice. Don't worry about it. But
seems like a bad Batman.
No,
people this shit.
He's definitely like making a huge mistake. But with Chase Meridian, it's way more like, is she gonna tell everybody? And like, is she gonna hate him for this? And I think this movie, because it has to introduce Batman, Batman feels really like Bruce Wayne, and you can kind of feel this in the scene where they have dinner the first time. Like, they're trying to set him up as a almost like less charismatic or like weirder guy than I think Michael Keaton is. But like, I don't know. I think I like Michael Keaton more as Batman than Bruce Wayne. It's such a tough one.
I mean, he's a way more like savage take on Batman, right?
Oh yeah. I almost think that's by accident. Like, I almost think someone wrote this movie and didn't even check to see if those are things Batman would do. Whereas, like, when Zack Snyder does them now, he's like, I want Batman to kill because I want it to show blah, 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 society. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I have a feeling they made this movie, they made the next movie, and then someone was like, oh, shit, actually, he shouldn't be killing people. And they went, well, why didn't anybody tell me? I don't know, I figured you knew. Well, you didn't see the first two? No. Oh, okay. Like, Batman has some brutal kills in this movie.
Oh, God, yeah. He's ready at the end of the movie to just, like, throw/punch the Joker off a building. Like, he's ready to kill the Joker. The Joker just doesn't quite let him.
And he's wearing glasses. That's not a good thing to do, Batman. That's the one rule.
I have to say, I was watching that movie. I laughed out loud when that happened.
Oh, yeah, I love that part.
It might be the funniest part of the whole movie. See, and I actually liked about this movie, and in case anyone isn't tracking what we're talking about, like, Batman's beating the shit up of the Joker, and then the Joker puts on a pair of glasses. He's like, you wouldn't hit a guy with glasses on, would you? It's like, oh, I forgot that was a thing, and now I remember, and it's funny, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I thought it picked its spots to be funny. It was mostly with the Joker. But I genuinely found, like, the Gotham infrastructure in terms of the, like, leadership, I found those people unintentionally hilarious. Especially Billy D. Williams. Oh, my God. He was a riot.
Poor Billy D. Because as we know from Batman Forever, he gets the, what's his name? I forget the name of the actor. The Kurt Connors treatment, where he's set up as a villain and, like, you know, slow burn. Oh, you're used to him. Well, maybe in the future something interesting will happen. Dylan Baker, that's who it is in the first 3 Spider-Man movies. It's like, oh, maybe this guy's going to be the Lizard. Oh, he's only got one arm. Kind of knows Spider-Man. And then just, like, they pull the rug out from under him. And in this, it's even worse because they just replace him with a different actor. Even though...
Yeah, it's so bad.
Billy D. Williams is fine. Like, he's not as big of a star at the time as, like, Tommy Lee Jones was. But it's not like he's, like, some... you know, guy who completely fizzled out. So I don't know. I think for me, the part of this movie that worked, and it reminded me, because there's not any of this in 66, and this really, like, this will be the first time that this makes a big appearance in Batman. Probably not cartoons, but like all the rest of the media, and it sticks around and it's great, is I love Sassy Alfred. I love the scenes where, like, in the beginning where Alfred is being a butler at this weird casino night thing, and he keeps having to clean up Bruce Wayne's glass. Like, stuff like that is fun for me. And yeah, I think the way that, like, Alfred is both, you know, and it's funny because he's the only actor probably that's made it through this whole series for no good reason.
Somehow.
Like all 4 movies. Maybe Commissioner Gordon has too. I can't remember if that actor hung around. And I don't think like any of the minor players. I don't remember Gossip Gertie being in this one. And obviously none of the rest of them. So I love whatever his name is. The actor who plays Alfred. He's very funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But all the Alfreds, like the Alfred in the cartoon, Michael Caine, Jeremy Irons even a little bit, although I can't remember that much of him. Like, the sass is just fun. I always love some sass.
Yeah, I think it's key. I mean, I think my favorite album is the just so Michael Caine one. I think he's a very good Alfred, and mixed with sass, but also that charm, and I really love for Master Wayne. So I really think he's the best one. That's
true. You really don't get much of this. Like, Alfred and Bruce in 4, their relationship really matters. A little bit in 3. By 4, I mean Batman and Robin. But it's not, there's just so much going on in this movie. We have to follow around Alexander Knox, intrepid reporter that nobody, takes seriously.
He's awful. He's the worst.
Yes.
And you know what? It's a problem because, he's the one who's like, oh, Batman, but he's a dope. He's a dope, and he's a goober, and your goober could never succeed. He's just a goober.
Yeah, it's just, annoying. You don't want him to find Batman.
Shut up.
You a little bit want Vicky Vale, too, just because you're like, this will be interesting. But with this guy, it's just, he's nothing but one-liners, and he just, tries to, hit on Vicky Vale and stuff. And that's fine, I guess, because, he's just not good at it. I think it's not fun to watch. He's the actor is fine, but just his character, and he's part of where this movie gets confusing for me, and kind of not necessarily nitpicking this bit of it, but just whenever this movie takes place, kind of 1950s newsman character that he's playing, and next to supermodel in 90s and 80s supermodel Vicky Vale kind of character. He feels more out of place than any of the rest of them, which is part of why I don't love him here. Because he feels like he should be in the Hudsucker Proxy or something.
Oh, man.
He's one of those guys, but also he's in this movie where, Batman has a plane and he has a car and, the Joker's dancing around to Prince. It's not an unmodern Batman, except for him.
Yeah, it's actually a good point. Although there is a by the way, we didn't talk about the Prince stuff, but those come out of the movie and it's that's weird. But I feel like there are some things that do kind of take it out of the modern context, they're using it feels like they're using Tommy guns at one point.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's a weird, the Joker pulls out these pistols and I'm like, when's that from? But it could just be a Joker prop gimmick thing.
That's the Joker in me. I'm you never quite know with him. Although some of the just general goons, I feel when they're doing the mob, the heist at not Ace Chemicals, I forget what it's called, but it's Axis Chemicals or whatever. I think they also don't have 80s guns. They have some sort of weird period guns. I'm gonna look it up.
That's a Tim Burton thing, though, right? He's all about his different kind of gun. Just feels very him. I just want to put it a little out of place. People will love it. Everyone loves me. Tim Burton. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
that's a Tim Burton.
He's definitely, it's very extra, in a lot of ways, and that's a big one of them. It's also just hard for me. I could tell you what year a movie came out by just watching it if it was the last 10 years and picking out everybody's phones and being that's what a phone looked like in 2015. But with 1995 back, I can't even guess. They all look the same.
It's fair.
I don't know what the mobsters are really going for, but they just kind of seem like normal guys. Not like normal guys, but contemporary mobsters for an 80s movie. They speak in kind of that they don't say, but they do speak in a strange way. But maybe that's how the mobsters spoke in 1980s New Jersey, which is where Batman is supposed to take place. Do you know that Gotham City's in New Jersey?
No, I did not know. Is that confirmed 100%? It's in New Jersey?
According to the comics, that's where it is.
Interesting. Where's Metropolis? Is that New York? Is Metropolis just New York?
So Metropolis, I want to say, is its own place. kind of like DC, but I believe it's supposed to be an island off the coast of Delaware. So they're close to each other, but not like right next to each other.
That's weird.
I know, because it's those two. Bloodhaven is within like driving range of Gotham.
Yeah.
And then like there's DC, which is like a real city in DC Comics, but then there's not too much else around there. And then you start getting around like I don't know, I guess Amnesty Bay is up in the middle or in the like North Atlantic.
Okay.
Or Northeast. But yeah, then, you know, those two biggest countries in the DC universe or biggest cities are right next to each other.
Whatever you want.
I mean, it's no excuse for Superman. Just you should solve all the Gotham crime if you can see it from your house, like with your supervision. It's not in California, but I guess whatever.
Well, that's why they need like West Coasts of everything's, right? Like
yeah.
Justice League West or Teen Titans West or whatever.
That's right.
So.
Yeah. Okay, what else? Let's talk about this movie. Other stuff. What are in my notes here? Mimes. Mimes are weird.
Oh, God,
Batman,
so many
really,
mimes.
Batman, or not Batman, I guess. Bruce Wayne brushes off a mime like, God damn these mimes. Like,
so weird.
So weird. They're not even really clowns, are they? Like, I guess they are. It seems like you're stretching it, Joker.
I mean, I don't know. It's if I saw a mime in real life, and I wasn't in Las Vegas, I would think I was having a dream. I've never encountered a mime in a not like performance-y context. And they were outside like a bank or City Hall or something like that. Pretty sure it was a bank. Why the fuck was a mime there?
I don't know. It was because you got to go to where the people are, and that's where everybody is. I mean, he's trying to get like $1 million tip from Bruce Wayne. Although this movie did another thing that Batman movies consistently do, and I think is so goofy. Bruce Wayne should be a pretty famous guy, you would assume. Yet multiple characters meet Bruce Wayne and still don't recognize that he is Bruce Wayne. In his house. Like, guys, it's Bruce Wayne. They do this in the Batman Superman movie, too, for a little bit. Superman's like, who's that guy? And he's like, what do you mean? That's Bruce Wayne. Duh. I'm always like, yeah, it's Bruce Wayne. Come on. You know who this is. He's very exciting.
I don't know, like, is it possible there are people who don't know what, like, Jeff Bezos looks like? Like, they know the name, like, oh, Jeff Bezos, Mr. Amazon. But if you showed him a picture, you wouldn't be like, oh, my God, that's Jeff Bezos?
I guess that gives you an excuse in the Batman v Superman one. But if you went to Jeff Bezos' house, I would assume you'd Google him. Try to figure out what he looks like, just fair. In case. Especially if you're going to, like, sneak in, kind of.
There's casino night at the Bezos mansion. We gotta
because you want to know who you're going to have to shake down or, like, try to get money from. Although I guess you could try to get money from anybody. I didn't know. I've never seen another Batman thing where Batman has a room full of armor. Is that like a normal thing? Am I imagining that?
Well, I guess that's the other thing, right? Like, so the Joker's into art, but I guess Batman is also into art?
Yeah. It seems like that's just a thing in the 80s. If you want to make your character, like, cultured, you just give him a shitload of art. He loves it.
Like, I guess it makes sense for Bruce Wayne, because that's what a billionaire would do.
Right. And he loves armor and knights and saving people and blah, blah, blah.
Actually, it comes around, right? At one point, like, someone with a sword tries to fight him, and he's, like, blocking it with his arms and legs, and it's like, oh, it's like he's got armor. I don't know if that's intentional, but it just made me think of it.
Someone with two swords, DJ.
The
two-sword-wielding goon who, like, does, like,
swords.
backflips and sword tricks and enough, like, Indiana Jones that you just figure Batman, and especially this Batman, would just pull out a pistol and shoot him. But no, yeah, he does this, like, funny takedown of this guy.
Oh, man.
The thugs in this movie.
They're hilarious.
It's like a side-scroller beat-em-up video game. Where it's just like you fight 10 normal goons and then one with a sword comes and he's wearing a different color than the rest. And they're wearing sunglasses and berets. Like, I mean, I like that the Joker looks like the Jack Nicholson looks pretty good. And they gave him the hat. Like, I love his hats and his outfits in general. I do wish his goons dressed like clowns more just 'cause. Like, that would be fun. And this would be the only time you can really pull that off. But nobody's perfect.
I have something. I know we're going totally out of order, and it's mostly my delirium. I really liked that this Joker's plan was to get everyone to love him
by like giving away free money, because that's an interesting take that isn't just the straight like I'm a bad guy, like, you know, like Dark Knight, I'm just gonna cause chaos. This guy's like, oh, I'll get them all on my side by dumping money everywhere, and I'll prove I'm so much better than the Batman, and then blah blah blah, part 2 of plan. But I just like that as the original premise, as like the public facing Joker, to have everyone love him.
Yeah, and I don't know, guys. Gotham, it's a nice enough place. Clearly, you know, it's got some problems, but, like, it seems unreasonable to take this guy who everyone knows is, like, poisoning everyone and just, like, go, like, you know what, he's throwing what I would assume are singles into the crowd. We should probably trust him. Like, he's still a super weird-looking guy. But, I mean, I guess, yeah, whatever. Like, we saw in this movie, in the reality of this movie, before the parade scene, I believe. I'm, like, kind of going through the movie now just to double, triple check. We see a newscaster die on air. So I feel like this character would be quite untrustworthy. Yeah. But yeah, no, he has, like, a public campaign of support and stuff. It's pretty funny. And he has a parade. Like, yeah, I don't know.
It's the parade. It's like the parade. They're talking about the whole movie, the bicentennial whatever parade.
Right, I guess it's more he has parade infrastructure, like special balloons and stuff. Like, he doesn't just show up at the parade and start shooting people. He has planned parade-themed, like, gags and stuff. But yeah, it's just such a strange little movie.
There's one part where, like, the Joker breaks into Vicky Vale's house or something like that.
Yep.
And there's a package there, and after the Joker leaves, Vicky Vale opens the package. Why the fuck would you open that package?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
I mean, she's just so curious as an investigative reporter. She can't not open all the... It's a bomb. Like, it would be a bomb. There's no way in hell. Because it's like flowers, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, it's like a Jack-in-the-Box style thing where it's like a little fist with flowers in it, like, shoots out of the box on like a scissor spring. But yeah, it should just be a bomb.
Like, it's not like the Joker came in. It's not like if this was like a Dark Knight. Dark Knight really wouldn't work either. But like some other Joker who's trying to be a benevolent Joker and like get the like public trust by winning over hearts and minds, and she doesn't know that he's bad, and he's like a weird-looking guy, and he shows up, and he's like, I love you, Vicky Vale. Here's a present. And he leaves. He also shoots her date. So he's definitely not a trustworthy figure. Although, to be fair, the date did go crazy during that scene. And that's, I'd say, not the single weirdest moment in, like, Batman history. But it's up there. The you want to get nuts bit.
Yeah.
It feels very un-Bruce Wayne to me, although I don't even really know what it is, like what character it would fit.
Yeah, and it almost works in this movie because Bruce Wayne has no defined character. Like, if people who saw this movie were not familiar with comics, they would just be like, oh, I guess this is who Bruce Wayne is. Like, it doesn't contradict anything else in the movie. It's like, oh, I guess he's just crazy. Yeah. So that's why I didn't, you know, in that context, I don't absolutely hate it. If that makes sense.
He also, like, the thing about Bruce Wayne that I think is so weird, right, is he has like a weird look. Not like weird, but like not like you would see Bruce Wayne drawn in the 70s and 80s.
Yes,
in comics.
Exactly.
And like, but it's the 80s. Like, we knew what a business person, like a rich guy, looked like in like Wall Street and other 80s movies. So it's weird that they didn't just make Bruce Wayne look like that. You know, he doesn't have like slick back hair.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know why I can't get over this hair.
No, he looks like he should be in Office Space. Like, it's really jarring.
Yeah.
The hair, like, really throws it off. He doesn't look like, not even Bruce Wayne, but just, you're right, like someone who would wear a suit to work. Like, he looks like he would wear, like, a short sleeve button down shirt, khakis, and with like a pocket protector. Like that's his attire.
Yeah. He's it's pretty strange. But again, I do like him. Like, I don't want to like, and I think I like Michael Keaton in general. So I think willing to give his Bruce Wayne a little bit of a, whatever. But very, very strange. He also has what would be implied to be sex with Vicky Vale in a cutaway that I think is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I had forgot. That's one thing that I had seen. Like, I've seen this movie a bunch of times. I forgot about that. And I'm trying to find that now. He's like with Vicky Vale, and she's like in the Bat computer or whatever, or like in the Bat cave, and she's like, I need something, or she's like, what else do you need from me? And he's like, this or something, and then just he puts like his hands up, and then we just cut to bats flying, not near them or anything, just like a clip of bats flying, and then she just wakes up drugged, I guess, in her bed.
Yeah.
But he didn't like have sex with her. As far as we know, he just took the film that she had taken, takes that back from her.
Yeah.
But like such a goofy little like scene. But it also shows just this Batman has no game whatsoever. But I mean, none of the Batmen really usually do. So that's a pretty consistent trope of Batman.
You can't let anyone find out.
And then, okay, so what do you think of the Batsuit? Because this Batsuit will inform future Batsuits, obviously. But like so this is Batman 1. We get Batman Returns, very similar suit. Forever, similar-ish, but kind of more built up. And then Batman and Robin, like almost different suit, more designed. But what did you think of this like rubber suit?
I thought it was interesting. I still think the yellow Bat logo feels so out of time. Like, why is there a yellow Batman logo? He's supposed to fight in the dark. And the utility belt was still huge. It's the biggest utility belt ever. But I honestly thought the suit was okay. I had no real problems with it. Why, did you think there was anything? Or what did you think of it?
No, I didn't mind it either. I think as far as like not like a take on that, but as like what are we going to make Batman look like? That's a good version of that. Like, obviously it's impossible to fight in, but this Batman's like bulletproof and whatever, and he's barely a ninja. He could just kind of do some fighting. But yeah, it's like, have you ever seen Batman Returns, how he takes the mask off? You know what I'm talking about? I feel like we might have even talked about it on the show before, because I think this is so great. How he like rips it off like a fruit roll-up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think that part of it is more interesting to me. Not just like, this is a funny looking, like, not like just this is a funny looking thing. Like, how does this actually work in the real world? Because there's a lot of like, a scene starts and Batman is already somewhere and he just poses and then he's in another place. But I feel like there's no like transitions. There's no getting out of cars and stuff. Like, kind of the same way in the first X-Men movie, they like filmed scenes with them in their stupid leather X suits, and they were like, okay, so you guys are going to jump over this wall and then go, and they couldn't do it, so they had to take those scenes out because you just can't move in those suits. I feel like this is the first one of those where it was like, well, this is just an impossible thing to wear. You can, and now they're all that. Like, even I was watching a clip of an interview with one of the guys from The Boys who plays the character Homelander, and he also has a suit that you're like, well, yeah, you can't get in and out of that. Barely moving that thing. None of them. You can't do it in any of them. You could kind of do it. Some of the Marvel ones get away with it by making the suits kind of more clothes. Like the Captain America suit, I can see, like, it's got like pants.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, a lot of these suits, like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man suit, is just like one big piece of plastic. And if you wanted to blame someone for that, you blame Tim Burton and like his costume designer. But it looks okay.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I didn't notice anything like, whoa, what is going on here? I could see like the discomfort though. I wonder if like filming was just a nightmare. And maybe that's why he's like, you want to get crazy? Because he's like, I'm going crazy being in this fucking suit.
I think it's very possible. I think that's why he just he kills goons, is because he can't have fights with them. He just got to put the bombs on their, like, on their person and kick them down a well or whatever he does to that one guy.
That makes a lot of sense.
What's your favorite Batman kill in this movie? Because there's some good ones.
Oh man, well, really, he does try and just like kill the Joker with the chemicals. He doesn't succeed, but he just like drops him right in the vat. Like, good luck with that, motherfucker.
Well, I can't remember in that scene. I'll go back and check. Doesn't Joker like struggle or kill himself kind of in that classic rule of like,
yeah, like, I won't save you, but I won't, or
like,
I won't kill you, but I won't save you either.
Oh my God, yeah. I just watched that scene again. That is preposterous. So Joker shoots Batman. Not Joker, but like Jack Napier or whatever. Shoots Batman. Batman deflects the bullet with his gauntlet, like wrist gauntlet, and it goes right back at Joker's face and like cuts right through his cheeks. And then Joker falls off the gantry, the walkway thing. Batman tries to catch him, slips. So technically, that is not a Batman kill. I think I named the best one, which is when he puts the bomb on that one big goon, and then just like he smiles at him like, "You're dead. Get fucked. Sorry."
Oh yeah.
The other one I love is the one where the Batmobile just kills like a bunch of guys. Right?
That's such a good one. That's such a good one.
It's bizarre. It goes into armor mode, drops a little bomb, all the guys near it die instantly. It's pretty cool.
He's pretty not forgiving with his kills, which like whatever. He wants to get crazy.
Yeah, he's a pretty bizarre. Like he's a pretty serious. He's not wasting any time. He's got to save Vicky Vale. He met her the other day. So very important. And I guess he's got like their bombs and whatever, but still. I love that this Joker uses the fake gun, the Blam gun.
Oh yeah, that was good.
It's a good little bit. Yeah, I don't know. All in all, I think this Joker's pretty good, except for when he's just Jack Nicholson. That one I don't care as much for.
Mm-hmm.
When he's like just talking and being Jack Nicholson. But when he's doing Jokery stuff, he's a pretty good Joker.
Yeah, I think in terms of Jokers, he plays the role very well. I don't think he does anything outrageous. The lack of makeup kind of gets me at sometimes, but overall I think he's a very good Joker. So
yeah. Do you say the lack of makeup was just like not like laziness, but like?
Yeah, I think it was just like difficulty filming and stuff like that. God knows how many times I had to film scenes and stuff like that. So
yeah. And it did a good job of like working in like, oh, he wants to look normal, so he put on this little makeup stuff. But yeah, it's very
yeah.
He also has like a truck with his name on it, like his brand. He has like a Joker branded like logo. He really put this together pretty quick.
Yeah, maybe he like had this going in his head the whole time while he was a gangster. Like, I just need a gimmick, and then he finally goes in the chemical valley. He's like, I can finally use the gimmick.
Yeah. This single thing that I play with constantly, that I fidget with, I look like it now. What are the odds? I'm definitely going to be this guy from now on. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, how would you rate this Joker? How many yo-hos would you give Jack Nicholson's Jack Napier Joker? I
would give him 7.5 weird, creepy smiles. Is that a unit I could use?
Sure. I'm going to give it a little lower. I'm going to say 7 little. You know what this Joker gets? He gets 7 cardboard cutouts, but the mouth is an animated mouth, and it moves, and it looks like a real mouth, which is from that awkward little, that terrific little commercial he does for, like, Joker poison, and he has, like, a little...
Yeah.
I hate that. It's so terrifying.
Yeah, it was terrifying. I just found it entertaining, yeah.
But, no, he's great. Yeah, all right. Next week, Return of the Joker?
Yeah.
Right? Did we talk about this on air, that we switched it?
No, we didn't. Yeah.
Okay.
You could explain.
So basically, I talked to a couple people this week, explained everything to them. I even saw a couple of these on Twitter. People were saying it probably, Phantasm's good, and it might be... A lot of people say it's one of the best Batman movies, which is kind of why I picked it. And it obviously has the Joker. But some people suggested we do Batman Return of the Joker instead, which is the Batman Beyond movie, made-for-TV movie where the Joker returns. I don't want to spoil it because there's stuff there. But that works, and it's definitely a better explanation or exploration of the Joker. And since it's supposed to be canonical to the Batman animated series Joker, it's the same guy, so might as well do a movie of his where he is the most him. And I think that came out before before Dark Knight, which will be the next one on our list.
Yes.
So next week we'll do that.
All right,
DJ, do you have anything to recommend to the people? You want to get to our classic segment?
Yeah, I not to totally just cut my legs out from under me, but I have a pretty meh rec this week. So yeah, been getting was prepping a lot for the trip, but I was watching a movie with Michelle on the plane, like watching it, but also kind of like playing Fire Emblem in the background. I'm addicted to Fire Emblem. If I could recommend Fire Emblem again, Fire Emblem Three Houses, what a fucking game if you're into tactical RPGs. Just so good. But outside that, we watched the Isn't It Romantic movie with Rebel Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
It's not terrible. Honestly, it's not terrible. There's like some good jokes in there. It's not very long, and there's some funny bits, and get yourself some Liam Hemsworth. So, yeah. It's not bad. It's a perfect plane movie. It's a great plane movie. Or if you just want to do like a cute little date night movie, nice little rom-com. There's like a musical number that's pretty funny. So, yeah, Isn't It Romantic? It's definitely a movie you could watch that's funny and good for a nice little rom-com. Yeah, I'm super light on Rex this week. You know what I recommend? Packing early. Giving yourself enough time to pack for a trip, because when you don't, oh boy.
Yeah, that is true. And for a move, and for anything, just pack. Pack all your things right now. You never know.
Yeah, you should. You should honestly be always in a state of packing, because you're going to have to move at some point. So just fucking pack.
Well, that
Redeem me, sir. Redeem me.
All right, I want to rec a movie that I watched the other day. First, okay, so I think I wrecked The Boys last week, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, so obviously still great. I finished Glow the other day with Emily. Good show. Fine season. A little kind of, it goes out on a whimper, but I more or less I enjoyed the season. I went to the movies yesterday. No, 2 days ago, maybe even 3. And I saw Ready or Not, the new murder family kind of horror comedy thriller movie. Do you know which one this is, DJ?
Yeah, I do. I was not inclined to see that, but like, is it good?
Yeah, I liked it. I think it's
oh shit.
It's very much in the vein of like, it's halfway between Cabin in the Woods, for it's kind of like, skewering a genre by having people kind of take it not as seriously as, like it's seriously a thriller, but also sometimes characters are like, damn it, this is stupid. That's not a great explanation. It's that plus Get Out, which is like crazy family. Right. What's going on with these weirdos? And I mean, not like the racial stuff, but more, I guess, in terms of like the income inequality. I mean, it's not nearly as much of like a parable as Get Out is, where it's like really actively trying to teach you something, but it's it's using family as a metaphor for X. But it's just really fun. It's gory. So if you don't want a movie where gory things happen, you're probably not going to want to watch this movie. But if you can handle that, performances are fun. The action is good, and it is funny. There are a lot of parts where I was like really laughing. My audience really got into it, probably too much. They should have maybe quieted down a little bit, but hey, what are you going to do?
Ain't that fun?
Yeah. What else was I going to say? Yeah, it came out this week. I even want to say like it's been out for a couple days. So I think if you have a reviewer who you follow on like Twitter or whatever, they've probably seen it. A lot of the people, my other YouTubers and stuff, all saw it. They all loved it. So I think if you're into like I said, Cabin in the Woods, Get Out, you'll probably like Ready or Not. And listen, it is fun to take your girlfriend and not tell her what it's going to be like at all. But probably want to give her a little bit of a, of a warning. But
right.
Still, I mean, it's a movie that like the less you know, the better. So that part of it is like, I wish I had seen it completely blind. Because first the thriller parts of it catch you off guard, and then the humor of it catches you off guard. It's like it's a fun. You're never quite sure what's going on. But yeah, that's all I got. I think like I've been reading comics, but nothing amazing. I still loving the Jonathan Hickman X-Men like Powers of X, House of X run, but it's super complicated to explain. So if you have all those, keep reading them. If you don't, try to find them, but it'll probably be tough.
All right.
DJ, next week, what are we doing? We're doing, we just said it, but say it again.
The Batman Beyond the Joker Returns. Woohoo!
That's right. So yeah, I don't know where people can find that besides just like buying it or renting it or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, you know what, it's probably on DC Universe Online if that is still a thing. Who knows?
Oh, let's, hold on.
Or not
Batman
DC
Beyond
Universe
Return of the
Online. That's like a
Joker.
game, right? I'm thinking of like DC Universe TV?
It's on all the things. It's on YouTube. It's on Google Play, Amazon Prime. It's on all the things. So
yeah, go enjoy that. Yeah, that's all I got. Anything else, DJ?
No, I'm good. I'm gonna go pass out now. Sorry for the weird audio. It'll be back to regular next week.
All right.
And I'm sure I'll have news from D23.
Until
or not,
then.
who knows?
Oh yeah, DJ's gonna leak the whole thing, right? That's what you were saying?
Yeah, for sure.
You get Steal the Mandalorian and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Lady and the Tramp or whatever. I don't know what else they're doing. Yeah, Monsters University, Minions, something. Well, no, not Minions. Something similar to the Minions, but legally distinct.
Yeah.
All the good stuff. And so yeah, until then, I am at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.